She's a trained soprano vocalist and actress, and she was born to a family of 5 in a small town in southwestern part of Nigeria. She started her music career at the age of 6, playing violin and singing at church and birthday events under the mentoring hands of her parents. Here you have Abiodun Koya. Good to have you here again.
Thank you so very, very much.
And I love your hair.
You do? I love it too.
Oh yeah, it looks nice.
Something for a change.
Something different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good to have you here again.
Thank you so very much.
How's the season been for you?
It's been amazing. It's been fantastic, phenomenal, a lot of changes. But I've been very bold and fearless, and I've been embracing.
Yes, this hair is bold.
You know, it's my African heritage. So yeah, I have to identify with it. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the motherland.
Okay, so I see you've been doing a lot of things. I saw you at the Ogun State
Christmas Carol. That's my state. Yeah. Shout out to Senator Bikumi Amosu.
Okay, so what part of the state are you from?
Ijebu.
Ijebu.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Do you like the kokore?
Are you kidding me? Don't ask me to speak Ijebu, please don't. I love the kokore. I do. I know how to make it even.
Oh.
Yeah.
One of these days I want to come and try.
Deal. Okay.
See, I'm just watching because I look at you. You're looking really colorful.
Thank you.
Not just in your appearance, even your persona.
Oh,
very colorful.
You're so sweet. You're kind. Thank you.
I'm humble. But then let's look at some of the things you've done. You started out quite young, and you've gone on to do things that many will say are unimaginable, that you probably wouldn't have thought about.
Right.
Let's take, for instance, you featured in an opera about the only black person on the Titanic. Let's begin from there, because if we want to go how you started, that might take a while. So, how did it feel being on that stage?
First and foremost, it was a huge privilege, and at the same time, it came with a lot of challenges. Playing Madame May, I played Madame May in the opera, and I thank God for just my mentors and my vocal coaches, just because I was really nervous. I was really, really nervous, and the director said, "No, Abby, you can do this. I almost literally wrote this role for you." So it was very successful. It was amazing, and it received a lot of positive reviews. Really, yes.
Okay, but that was after your performance at the Democratic Convention.
Yes.
2012. That was
nerve-wracking. I usually don't get nervous, before performance, but I realized that.
Why was that different?
Look, the atmosphere was different. You're talking about who's who of Washington D.C. and the United States. We're talking about senators, ambassadors, Congress members, and big wigs. So I was a nervous wreck. Like literally, my intestines were quivering and shaking. I had to just really do a little bit of yoga somewhere backstage. But I just was happy for that opportunity, because after that, Americans were like, "Oh, Abiodun Koya, where's that from? What country?" And I was able to say Nigeria.
Proudly so.
Absolutely, and proudly Nigeria.
Now, the legendary gospel TV show, Bobby Jones, asked you to sing at.
Yes.
Tell us about that. I think we have a video of that.
Oh my goodness, yes. So Bobby Jones is like this huge gospel TV pioneer, and he's been having this TV show for 35 years on BET television. He actually, I think he kind of discovered Kirk Franklin, and he kind of, if he didn't, he gave them a lot of platforms and access to, for them to showcase their talents, and it was the finale. So, that was the 35th year, and he said, "You know what, why don't you come on and sing an operatic sacred piece?" And I was like, "Oh my goodness." And he said, "You're going to be the only African so far to feature on this, and the only opera singer." So not only the only African, but the only Nigerian so far. Because when people say only African, I always have to Nigerian too. So it was a huge, huge, huge honor, and it airs on BET in the United States once a month now. you know. So it was a huge honor.
You're born into a family of 5.
Yes.
Were you guys singing, or you just okay?
And I'm the baby. They say I'm the baby, but I don't say I'm the baby.
You just said
I
you're the
could say
baby.
last card. Yes, I have 2 amazing brothers and 2 sisters, and my father studied in England. And as a student, he just fell in love with classical music. And when he was coming back home, he brought a lot of Mozart, Handel, Beethoven, Bach, Mendelssohn, you know, Puccini, you know, all those records, those vinyl black records. And so I was then, years after that, I was born into that. And so I happened to just fall in love with it. I loved it. I would go around the house. I would take 2 broomsticks, and I'll be doing like this, you know, 3, 4 years old. You know, with my dapper. Don't imagine that. You know, so that's how it all started.
So you do play the violin?
I used to, but then I became very silly, and I became lazy. You know, when I was about 10, 11, and I just quit.
So
I regret it.
So what do you play now? Only your voice? You play
I really
only
regret
your
it.
voice.
I play only my voice.
And then you decide to go into acting too?
Recently. Yes.
Tell
Oh my
us about that
goodness.
experience.
Oh my goodness. It's really, acting is difficult. You know, people usually just categorize acting and music like in the same industry, but it's very difficult. I had to, because I really didn't have any experience in acting. And so when I decided to go into it, I had to start out as an extra. And from there, you know, the casting directors loved me. And because I was reliable, I was responsible, you know, with arrive early, but the money wasn't anything to write home about. So after about doing it twice or thrice, I quit. And all of a sudden, it was like God was telling me that I needed to go back there. You need to learn some stuff. You need to learn the trade. There's some words they use that you don't know. There's the etiquette, everything. There's a protocol with acting. Hollywood we're talking about. So from there, from being an extra, I graduated into being a stand-in. You know what a stand-in is, right? A stand-in, and that was so much fun. And then from there, I graduated to becoming like not having a speaking role, but just featuring, you know. And then I started having auditions. I even got invited to audition for House of Cards, you know, Kevin Spacey, for a role. And at that time, I hadn't watched House of Cards.
Okay, well, we'll go on a break, and when we come back, we'll talk more about Flourish, and then you play your voice.
Yes.
Flourish me, you play your voice. Okay, we'll go on a quick break. Just stay with us on Sunrise.
Abiodun, Koya, Nigeria.